everybody, and welcome back to Test Your Might. This is just a news episode. We are foregoing the debates tonight. We're just going to get out a podcast about the news so that we are current and up to date for our next debate show. So with me today is friend, co-host, Sean. How you doing today, Sean?
Hi. I was great until the curse happened. Spooky season is truly here.
This episode is wild already. Yeah. I heard somebody say on a podcast one time not to mention your tech issues. Yeah.
I was just talking about a curse. No, I didn't. I didn't bring any tech issues up.
All right, cool. Anyway, listeners, today we're going to be discussing Marvel Snap, the Xbox price hike, and CD Projekt Red remaking the original Witcher. But first, if you are listening to me now, leave a review. We would really appreciate it. It would help us out tremendously. Go on over to your podcatcher of choice. Apple Podcasts is the best place to leave us a review, and let us know how we're doing. If you're on Spotify, go to the mobile app and leave us a review there. And if you're watching us on YouTube, well, listening to us on YouTube this time, there's no video version. Please go ahead and leave a comment down below. Let us know what you thought of some of the news, and please subscribe to the channel. Little bit of housekeeping. We do have a season recap of The Rings of Power, season 1 from Amazon Prime Video. Got some fun comments down below on that season recap, so if you want to go check it out, go ahead. And Sharif Jackson, friend of the show, joined us for that episode. We also have an interesting podcast called I called it the Halloween Pro-Am. And that's with a friend of the show, Shanine Thompson. Me and her spent an hour and a half talking about the Halloween franchise, my favorite franchise of all time, and she just watched it for the first time ever this year. So, yeah, that was a really fun conversation. Go ahead and take a look and listen. Let us know what you think about the Halloween franchise. All right, Sean, what have you been playing?
What have I been playing?
That's why I asked.
I'm trying to think of when I was last year. I don't think I'd finished Immortality last time, but we've talked about it.
Yes.
Between ourselves. Finished Immortality. It was good. I have qualms about the specific, finding the cursed footage mechanic, but it's nothing that takes away from it. I thought it was really good. And I never went back. I was talking to you earlier about how it makes me want to figure out what a speed run of that game is.
Yeah.
But I haven't gone back and done that yet. That's as I predicted. It's unlikely, but it is something that's going to consume some brain space. Just considering it for a second. I
heard that game was pretty mature, adult.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It's pretty. There's sex scenes are a part of all the movies basically.
Okay.
And they're not super whatever, but there's body parts happening for sure.
There's body parts happening.
Look, I'm not as good at navigating the family friendly topic, tone. So I'm just being conservative.
Thanks for helping out.
Yeah. Other than that, I've been playing I've just playing story stuff other than Destiny 2, but I'm not going to talk about Destiny 2. I've been playing Beacon Pines, which I don't know if you've heard about it, but it's it's kind of like an event, point and click adventure, basically. And you're in a small town that a mystery is happening in. You're gonna figure it out. It's key mechanic part of it is it's kind of like a choose your own adventure style where it'll be specific plot points where there'll be a fork in the tree or whatever. And it'll be very explicit that it's what's happening here, and you'll have collected specific words that you can use in places here, and it'll give you a choice out of the words you can do. And you have to go back to other forks when you have new words to figure out more about the town and different how the story could have played out until you find the right ending. I am very close to the end, but I don't know if I'm actually gonna finish it because I hit like one of the endings that was just like so pitch perfect in its writing and like very funny to me that like I don't want to go back and like get the true ending.
Yeah,
because like that was just like such a high for me. But yeah, I really like that game.
Yeah, what is your percentage of games that you actually go back and get the right ending?
I have no idea. It's got to be low. because for me, like there's definitely games that I have played that I've beaten, and I know based on what I've seen on the internet, they have multiple endings. Like I'm not going back. No offense to this game, like I'm not going back to try to find that secondary ending. I'm just gonna YouTube it, or not even look it up at all. Yeah, I think in most cases, like the reason I don't like it's not that I like missed the right ending. It's that like there are multiple endings, and I just have like my canon version of the story. And then sometimes it's like, yeah, you have to go and like replay the game on like the hard. You have to like replay the whole game again to get like the true ending. Which those I'm in the same boat as you. This one is different because like you hit endings all the time because like again it's in the Choose Your Own Adventure book, especially like like the not Goosebumps ones but the like spin-off R.L. Stine ones. Like you get like bad endings all the time, and then like you know you get you just keep playing until you're done with it. And that's what happened here, I think.
Yeah, like the Quarry, like the I got one ending. Pretty sure it wasn't the only one. Especially since one of my characters died. But I'm not going back to try to have all of them survive or get different endings. I'm just I'm good. The experience that I had was very good with that game. That's where I'm gonna leave it. Anything else you've been playing?
I started playing The Forgotten City just because it's been on my list and it's leaving Game Pass soon. Really? I don't know if I'm gonna finish it by Tuesday. But I'm trying.
That's the that's not it's not time loop, right? It is.
You go back. You go to like a Roman city. It's a city with like Roman people who get trapped here for reasons. And then you got to figure out what's happening. I mean, like the basic premise happens immediately. It's like you get trapped here. Everyone's got to follow the golden rule, and if anyone sins, basically everyone gets punished. And you got to like figure out. You are tasked with figuring out who's going to commit a crime and get everyone killed. And like you have to go back and you're gonna fail in the process of doing it. You gotta go back and like figure out all the little mysteries and how to like make sure no one does bad stuff. And it's pretty good so far. I'm like 2 or 3 hours in. I'm having a good time with it.
That's one that I definitely wanted to hit on my list, but there's just too many games right now. There's so much content.
Yeah.
But yeah, that game looked extremely intriguing. And a lot of people that I like follow in the industry and stuff, they said that it was a really good game. So I definitely wanted to play it, but there's just too much going on. So anything else?
I think that's it. Yeah, that's it.
So I have been playing nothing but Marvel Snap. It is the video, like, I'm thankful for it because I really haven't had any like motivation to sit in front of the Xbox or, PlayStation, sit in front of the TV or whatever and just play a game, and so Marvel Snap is there to tide me over until I get the motivation again to do that. But to be fair to Marvel Snap, like it is so good. It is so fun. Like I'm really surprised you haven't gotten into it yet. I think I texted you the other day. I was like, yo, it's legit.
Yeah,
and
I remember this.
Yeah, it's you were a part of that text exchange. Nice. I really enjoy the fact that you are able to collect cards and you are able to quote unquote progress in the game without purchasing anything. Like I never feel like I'm at a disadvantage. I don't think that like anybody has really created a deck that is more overpowering than mine. Every game that I go into, and what's really cool about it is that as you are leveling through the collection level and unlocking cards, it seems like the collection level, the way that it's going is it's introducing different sort of styles of decks that you could play. So the places that I'm at my collection level right now, it's like giving me a lot of cards that are like counter in nature that like really affect my opponent. And so recently I created a deck that is all counter, right? That I can affect my opponent very, very greatly to their detriment and easily win the game in some cases. So it's just kind of really cool how they've planned out where you get these cards. Now some of these cards are random when you receive them, but it just kind of feels like at least around the levels that it's kind of curated to what's given to you. That's what it feels like. It's probably not the case, but that's how I feel. But regardless, it's just a fun card battler. I have some issues with it. There's some locations that annoy the crap out of me, Sean. There's one, Ego from the Marvel universe.
I do. Yeah. Uh-huh.
So when his location gets revealed, he plays your cards for you for the rest of the game. And you just have like there were so many instances like during one of those games that I legitimately could have won if the cards were played correctly, but Ego is just being Ego and just playing the cards everywhere, and I have no choice, and it's very annoying. It is very frustrating. The other thing, and maybe I just haven't played a lot of card battlers recently, but the other thing that's really frustrating me is that, you know me, I love deck builders. I love those types of board games that really like give you the strategy at your fingertips. Mm-hmm. And with this game, everything is done at random. So let's take Wolverine, for example. Wolverine, his ability is if he gets discarded, he doesn't actually get discarded. He gets played at a random location. But sometimes when you play a card to like discard a card, it's done at random. So Wolverine is not always the one that is discarded. Well, that just, to me, it feels stinky that it's taking the strategy out of it. And like, because if I play Blade, and Blade, when he's revealed, you are able to sacrifice a card. I want to be able to sacrifice Wolverine, and I want to be able to choose that. I don't want him to sacrifice my Hulk because I need Hulk for the end game because he's a 12 power, So like, are other card battlers always random like that, or is it just this one?
So it's card battle. I mean, like if we're counting like Magic as the card battler, no, it's no. Like, yeah, sometimes it'll be random to make it. It'll be like random in order to like have an extra card. Like there'll be ones where you get to pick which ones you sacrifice or whatever, and then sometimes they'll be like random will be an extra condition so that you can make the card cheaper to use in the first place, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like, yeah. But yeah, and other ones it's usually not. But I think I didn't do a lot of Hearthstone, but from what I understand, Hearthstone was more on that end of like that sort of play, and it's from those same people, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's my biggest gripe with it. Is when the game itself takes the strategy out of my hands. But other than that, for the most part, it's really good. It's fantastic, actually. I'm really digging it, and I just really don't play a deck that I don't play a sacrifice deck right now. Like there's definitely a really cool sacrifice deck that you can make, and I do have the cards for it, but I'm not playing it right now just because of the simple fact that like, Apocalypse, if he gets discarded, he gets +4 power and goes back to your hand instead of discarded. Well, how come you're discarding a not Apocalypse? You know, so it's just that's the only thing that's really yeah, but like that's avoidable. I don't have to play a sacrifice deck, which is cool. So
yeah,
lots of ways to play. There's it's not a glitch. Like you could definitely do it. I don't know if you've seen this, but there it looks like a glitch where you could get like 1,000, like up to 4,000 points on a certain location of power. And it's where you, if you play it, there's this location called Bar Sinister. Bar Sinister, when you play a card there, it automatically creates 3 other cards to fill up the space. So you play, and they're all copies of each other. So you play one card there and you get 4 of that card at that location. And you can only have 4 per location. So one of the things was people found out that if you played Nightcrawler there, Nightcrawler creates 4, and Nightcrawler allows you to move. You can move Nightcrawler once. And so people were playing Nightcrawler there, or they still are. You know, if it's, you know, if the timing and the cards are right, if they have the heart of the cards, they'll play Nightcrawler there. They'll move just one Nightcrawler, and then they'll play Blue Marvel. Blue Marvel gives every single card +1 power. And then on the next turn, they would move all 3 of the rest of the Nightcrawlers to different locations and play Onslaught. And what Onslaught does is it doubles your ongoing powers. So Blue Marvel, his ongoing power is to give everybody on your team 1 point. And so Onslaught doubled it 3 times over, and it just goes everywhere. Like, it's insane. Oh, and it goes like up to the thousands, and like it just looks like a glitch, but technically it works. It's just wild. Anyway. You thought that was enough Marvel Snap, listeners, but no. Marvel Snap did make $2 million in the first week. Let's get to the news. $2 million in the first week. Is that kind of surprising for you?
I don't know what money is. What is its monetization like? Is it just like season passes? Is it like you can buy decks or whatever?
There's a $10 season pass, and then there is a $2.99 bundle that they give you, or that you could buy in the store. It gives you a variant of Captain America currently. It gives you a Captain America icon, like you could use it as your avatar, and then it gives you some gold. So yeah, there's just that, and then you can purchase gold specifically. So it's, I mean, the monetization is kind of low as you know, for me, just perceiving what I've seen in the game. Like it seems sort of low to me. It's just like 10. And if you're not buying gold, it's $13 max.
Yeah.
So,
I those kind of numbers, it seems like people are buying gold for something. I'm guessing you could like buy specific cards or something with that, or
you could buy like variants and stuff. And some of the variants are really cool, but you definitely don't have to. You could buy 8,000 gold bricks for $100. So, you know, maybe people are buying up the gold, stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, at the very least, $9.99. At the very most, $100. You know. So, in 1 week to amass that amount, though, I think that's pretty decent.
That seems pretty good.
Yeah. And I mean, there's 5 million players happening, So
Oh, okay. Yeah.
almost 50 cents a person, or 50% a person, right? That's pretty crazy. Marvel Snap doing good stuff. Xbox hardware and subscription services, their prices might be going up. We got some quotes from Phil Spencer himself, the man, the myth, the legend. He says, and this is an article written by Ryan Dinsdale on IGN. He's quoted, "I do think at some point we'll have to raise the prices on certain things, but going into this holiday, we thought it was important to maintain the prices." Spencer said, "We've held price on our console, we've held price on games and our subscription. I don't think we'll be able to do that forever. I do think at some point we'll have to raise some prices on certain things." Sean, my question to you is, first of all, do you think this is the right decision if they end up raising prices? And secondly, what certain things do you think Phil Spencer is talking about?
I mean, it's certainly what investors are going to think is the right decision. And that's what matters in this case. And I think Sony's already done it with hardware, and Microsoft might want to try to avoid replicating the same thing, especially because part of their problem, or not their problem, part of the reason they're not making as much profit comparatively is that they're hitting a what is it called? They're hitting a saturation point on Game Pass. So I think the way they would probably try to swing that is keep the hardware all the same so that more people, anyone that wants to still get in, doesn't have any additional barriers, and then probably increasing Game Pass or prices of the games themselves. At least for one side, either Windows or the Xbox side, since they are technically different. But that'd be my guess.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I don't foresee them raising the prices of the consoles themselves. I think that they are still probably okay with eating the cost, if they're going to keep the Series S at $300 and the Series X at $500. Now, even if they do raise the prices to the Series S, it will still be under $300. You could find Series S's for $220 at this point if you just wait patiently for the deals, which is pretty wild in and of itself. And I mean, the Game Pass uptick in price was almost inevitable, right? It's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean every subscription service is doing it. Yeah.
I mean, on top of it, they're going to be introducing the family plan, maybe by this holiday, maybe early next year. Yeah. And the rumors are that that's going to swirl around $25 for the family plan. So, I mean, even if they do raise the price of Game Pass ultimately you will be able to get it perceivably for $5 a month still if you go with the family plan. So, I mean, but you are right that, it is quoted also elsewhere. I don't have the exact place, but Game Pass seems to have hit a ceiling as far as console people subscribing to the service. I think it's still growing, but it's not growing at the pace that they anticipated. But they also don't have the exclusive games, right? They don't, and next year could see even more of a growth in Game Pass. Game Pass PC grew 153%, they said, from last year.
Yeah.
So I mean that's going strong. I think they're in a good position, but yeah, I mean, there's two things that I see them doing before the consoles is the Game Pass, and then they have not truly adopted the $70 price tag just yet.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know how like their big acquisitions affect this at all, but I feel like they must, since they're pretty head down focusing on that part of things too.
Yeah, I mean, adding Activision Blizzard obviously is no chump change, but also they adding Activision Blizzard also adds those games to Game Pass, and you gotta bring up the price for those, right? You know.
Yep.
There's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot. Rocksteady Studio co-founders leave the company. Yikes. Or maybe not yikes. This comes from Joe Scrubbles, who writes, Rocksteady co-founders Sefton Hill and Jamie Walker, who helped create the Batman Arkham series, as well as the upcoming Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, are leaving the studio for a new adventure in gaming. And then an open letter from WB Interactive president David Haddad said, with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League nearly finished, they have both decided to leave Rocksteady at the end of 2022 and will begin a new adventure in gaming. It is not clear, that was the end of the quote, sorry. It is not clear what that new adventure will be. Sean, do you think they're gonna like stick with? Do you think maybe Marvel nabbed them up? They're like, "Yo, these guys know how to make a superhero game. Let's get them over to Marvel." Or are they just doing their own IP? And then follow-up question: Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. Like, do you think this is in trouble, or do you think it's good to go?
I think. All right. First things first. I'll go one at a time. I think Marvel. I think they probably need somebody that knows what they're doing. I haven't played a lot of their games. I haven't even played Snap, which is the one everyone's like gushing about. I hear people having a good time about. I will. But yeah, I can see them trying to like poach that way. Like that's what's happening in the movie and the cinematic universes anyway, so why wouldn't it happen here too if possible? I don't know if it's like a certainty.
James Gunn going over to DC.
Yeah. I don't think it's like a certainty by any stretch. Like a video game, like people just leave to go off and found their own stuff all the time.
Yeah.
But I think it could. I think it's definitely a potential and like something Marvel like probably would have looked into. As far
that's just a hypothetical. I'm not confirming anything. I was just saying that'd be interesting.
It could be interesting. I think I have no idea. I mean, since it is almost done, it's probably gonna like. I don't think them leaving will negatively impact it at this stage if it is truly nearly finished. But it is a sign that it already was bugged in some way, but I don't think that's the case. And also, I don't know that.
Follow-up question. Do you think that just the existence of this game is negatively impacting this game?
What do you mean?
Who wants to play a Suicide Squad game? I'm sorry. Like, this is, maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but especially off the heels of Gotham Knights, they were clearly going for some type of co-op thing. And having a live service cooperative game with Gotham Knights. And like, do you not see a potential perception being the same for Suicide Squad? Like, I don't know. I don't want to kill the Justice League. I want to play as them.
Well, I mean, if the Heroes game sucks, maybe you want to get rid of them. Maybe it's their time to go. That's all I'm saying. And like, there's a ton of games where like maybe just the idea of it, like you wouldn't necessarily think it's a good thing. Like, I don't know, like Midnight Suns. You know, if we hadn't seen like explicitly, hey, here's XCOM or whatever about it, a lot of people wouldn't be as excited about it just because like. Who gave a crap about the Midnight Suns before, you know? But I mean, they had the recent like Suicide Squad movie was like pretty well received, so I don't think they're like dead to the like consumer cultural imagination.
Yeah,
Necessarily.
I hear you.
But I also don't know anything about this game, so maybe it is. Maybe it is dead.
I'm just I was just kind of sort of over the Suicide Squad. The recent one that, you know, had a Peacemaker and he's not Deadshot. What is he? Idris Elba's character.
Yeah.
You know, that was a fun movie. I really enjoyed my ride on that one. But ultimately, like, been sort of done with the IP. Like, yeah, I'm okay. I don't need any more of it. But I mean, we'll see. This is Rocksteady behind this. You know, the woes of Gotham Knights is WB Montreal. You know, it's not Rocksteady. So hopefully there's nothing going on with this game. But you know, me and Justin and we're having a conversation. Maybe earlier today, maybe yesterday. Like, their goalpost is, I think a lot of people are going to relate Suicide Squad to Gotham Knights, but I really think that we should have their goalpost be the Arkham series. Like, that's where they need to hit. Like, Gotham Knights did not hit the highs of Arkham anything. And that's, Rocksteady just needs to be able to follow that up, you know. You got a fun little old story next on the list. Why don't you tell us about it there?
Yeah, I was perusing the news, and I had a lot of topics that like would have hit traditional hey, here's the point Sean wants to make about the world in news form, and then this happened instead, and then this also happened. I was like, let's have a fun story, because all right. So anyway, let's just get into it. There was a piece written by Waypoint, Rada Price. Joe Biden is killing it on the fighting game circuit. Basically, there is when you go into like fighting games and a lot of different games, like you make your username, you know, and somebody is going around and their like username for when they're going to tournaments is USA dividing line Joe Biden. And the story is just about like how like it started with a tweet about like, hey, Joe Biden's kind of like sweeping all these tournaments, and this piece is going into like, hey, that's not exactly true, but like in local tournaments, like they're doing really well and no one knows who this person is. But they made their account, they started like going into things like in November of 2020, so when Biden was elected, and their power seems to be growing and shrinking as you know, Joe Biden's like the perception of the American people have Joe Biden, like in his polling, is going up and down. Like as he gets policy wins, this Joe Biden is getting fighting tournament wins. And it's just like a fun little story about like, you know, this coincidence. It's fun to like create a narrative around it. And yeah, I just thought it was a well written piece that was a good couple minutes of having a fun time.
It's incredibly hilarious. It's just I was reading a little bit of the article here, and it's it says, you know, it says fighting game player USA / Joe Biden is not utterly dominating the Guilty Gear tournament scene, despite what a recent viral tweet says. He is, however, doing appropriately well for his namesake, which is it's funny how, as you said, his fighting streak is corresponding with, you know, Biden's approval rate. Basically, that's funny. Yep. Joe Biden, we did not know that he was a fighting game champion.
Yeah, and you know, maybe it is Joe Biden. Maybe that's, you know, what he's been busy doing. That's what he spent the pandemic doing. Well, I was wondering if he was like dying in his little thing. No, he's just playing Guilty Gear.
So that's why student loan forgiveness took this long?
Yeah, that's the reason.
Oh, that's funny. Okay. Another couple news beats to hit. Marvel Midnight Suns is getting Deadpool as DLC. Sean, are you excited for Marvel Midnight Suns? I know you like the tactics.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I like the opening like pitch about it was good, and so I haven't like been following a ton about it. I didn't know about this DLC thing even until I was reading, the doc. Yeah, I'm excited about it. I hope that it'll end up being a cool game.
Man, I think this has a lot going on it. Not only because it is Marvel, right? It is characters that a good majority of people, not even video gamers, love, right? But also with the reviews of Sparks of Hope like being so good, I think that, it is sort of gonna be related, but not really. Like I don't know how to explain this, but like I think that like I think it's going to be compared. Like, what is going to be the better tactics game that it came out this year, and here's this sort of more. I can 100% guarantee that Sparks of Hope is going to be way more approachable for any Joe Schmo who wants to play a tactics game versus this. I mean, this also has a card system in it as well. So like, there's just a lot of things going on with it. And like, I think this has even more of an uphill battle than Gotham Knights did, even though I think this will ultimately be a better game. But like, you mean to tell me that you need to sell that this is a Marvel tactics card game? I think that's what's very hard for, just its bullet point list for just the regular person.
Yeah, this is kind of like, was it 2 years last year? I think it was 2020 when it was like XCOM Chimera Squad and the Gears of War Tactics game happened at the same time. Yeah. They were both doing like different things, but it was kind of like, hey, like direct comparison to, I think you're right that Rabbids and this is going to be compared. I mean, in that case though, like at least in my opinion, the Firaxis one, the XCOM one was doing the work in that case. So maybe it'll happen again with this. I am a little actually skeptical about the card implementation, despite, playing a lot of games involving cards as the mechanic. Right? I am a little skeptical about that, but if they pull it off, obviously that's if they do it right, that's obviously going to be an extra check mark in my book, probably. But
well, I mean, that's just the thing. Like, I'll talk about Gotham Knights again. Gotham Knights, at the very least, had the bones of what the video game industry has come to know what a superhero video game is, right? On the laurels of the Arkham series, on Spider-Man even, or Spider-Man Miles Morales too. Like, that's when you think superhero games and when you think top of the line, upper echelon superhero games, you think those are like, it is a hard sell to say, here, you could play as all of your favorite Marvel characters in a tactics card game. Like, I think it's a very hard sell. I think I'm going to love the heck out of this game. I really do. But I don't think it's going to do numbers that maybe a Marvel game would insinuate.
I mean, all right, so not to get too debatey on the news episode, but I'm hearing the words Marvel, card game, tactical, and I'm thinking legendary, which is popular between us and definitely among board game space is very popular. So I don't know. It's a proven concept having those three things married together. So
video games are slightly different.
They are different.
They are an interactive medium that there has already been a precedent set by like what a superhero game is supposed to be. Mm-hmm. And whether that's wrong or right. Yeah. But at the end of the day, like, I'm going to eat the heck out of this game. I'm so stoked for it. As you said, like, this hits all of like you and me, like we like card games, we like Marvel, we like tactics games. Like, it's gonna work. So we'll see. I'm really excited for it. But I like I said, I do think that they have an uphill battle, especially with a very approachable tactics game that just came out in Sparks of Hope, and having all of those all pretty much raving reviews across the board, and then taking a superhero game and putting it as a tactics game. But I mean, even your example there, like Gears was a third person shooter game that was brought into tactics, and it works. So Okay, last topic for this week. CD Projekt Red. They're making The Witcher remake in Unreal Engine 5. What are your thoughts?
I, I'm gonna say fix the combat, but that's a little more. That's imprecise because, like, I like experimentation with combat, but even from people who like the Witcher series, they say that it is hard to go back and play the original one because, as like different as it is, they don't quite hit it. So hopefully it comes with making it a better experience to revisit the great story that I've been told is there. I didn't make it very far into what I think I tried both The Witcher and Witcher 2. No, it's just The Witcher, and I thought the combat was alright, but like I didn't super get into it. And then my computer just couldn't run Witcher 2, so I guess I never at the time. So I didn't end up playing that. But yeah, I just hope they fix that and I guess make that money. Woohoo.
Make that money.
It'll distract them. Well, no, it won't, because they'll just have different teams at this point, but hopefully it'll distract them from returning to more problematic areas that they like to venture into. Settings that they would otherwise go to.
I mean, one of the things that I take from this is that CD Projekt Red is really going knee deep into Unreal Engine 5. Like they're the Witcher 3 resolution update, like the next gen update, I believe is done in Unreal Engine 5. All their future projects are done in that. Like, it's pretty interesting that they're just ditching their old stuff, because they had their own engine. They had their own in-house engine to do all this stuff, and they're going with this. I mean, Unreal must be slightly more user-friendly, a little bit more approachable. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know nothing about it, but it seems like they're taking that and running with it. I don't know. Like, well, I think may have had a conversation about this in passing, but especially around the Mass Effect stuff, when the trilogy came out, the remastered trilogy. Like, I'm kind of excited that I've missed a lot of these games that are staples for a lot of people, because like they're getting remakes, and I would much rather play the remake. I could be like a traditionalist, or a perfectionist, or whatever the word is, but like the first time I'm going to play Resident Evil 2 is going to be the remake. I'm sorry, I'm not going to go back to the tank controls of Resident Evil 2. I never played it back when I was growing up. I'm going to go play the remake, that type of thing. So I really dig when companies do this, even if it's just for the money, like you said.
Yeah. I am also on that side mostly, but there are times where like I can appreciate the purist, I think is the word you were going for, viewpoint.
You got it. I didn't get it.
Yeah, like I remember with like Demon Souls, like certain comparisons about like choices of what they like upscaled and like how they like changed like visuals and stuff. I agreed with people that
the
like
PS5 version.
Yeah,
okay.
I agree with some people on like, hey, like, yeah, the originals like worked better thematically, yada yada yada. So like sometimes, like I understand those sometimes, but I think also like if it's getting people to play a cool thing and it's still relatively the same experience, it's good. And sometimes it's even cool to analyze like what is different about this. Like I was just watching a recent video from Jacob Geller about
Jacob Geller.
Yeah, about the Resident Evil 4 remake for the Meta, for the Oculus Meta or whatever the hell it's called.
Oh yeah, the VR.
And like the perspective he was having on like how like it fundamentally changes the game in ways like, yes, it gets rid of like tank controls and like a lot of like different things because it's in VR now, but like the things that it does add does make it like a very different experience that is in its own way like super cool. And like honestly would have pitched me on like getting a VR headset if it wasn't only through Facebook's bullshit. But but yeah, I think I just like looking at like why things change and like what it says about priorities and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool when I mean, I don't know if Witcher will, like as you said, fundamentally change the game, the remake, but what I do think is that like those little bits and pieces of like, you know, what's the word? Bringing it to modern times, quality of life. That's what I wanted to say. Things like, you know, that's what got me through the Mass Effect original game. Like when I played, they had a couple of quality life things. They added a slightly better movement and combat to the original game when they made the Legendary Edition, and that's the reason I was able to get through that original game, because I went back and played the 360 version, and it's almost unplayable. It's nigh unplayable as far as movement. So like, I don't think CD Projekt Red is going to, you know, change so much in the Witcher remake, but those quality of life things. So.
Well, then they're going to add like 50%, like half the game's going to be Gwent now, so.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. No need to apologize. Always go for the joke. I've never played Gwent. Is it good?
I have not heard good things. Well, from the like standalone game within The Witcher, I think people like it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. I think there's a board game, Gwent, as well. I think you can buy it and play it. Anyway, I'm introducing a new segment, Extracurriculars. What have you been up to outside of video games?
Oh boy. It's October, so I've been watching too many horror movies. That's really it.
Yeah. Any to recommend to the audience?
Yeah. Unfortunately, my brain doesn't work, so I'm gonna talk about one I just watched while I pull up the list of things that like are really cool. I just watched Barbarian before we recorded.
I want to see it. Was it good?
Yeah, I had a really good time with it. It's one of these movies where like I like these kind of movies because I think I've said this on here before too, but it makes me like feel good about my critical lens, where because like I can see this movie and know I enjoy it, but it can also see that like, hey, what it's saying I don't necessarily like or agree with. Like its ultimate message isn't like this, probably isn't very good. I haven't like thought about it because it's only been an hour, but it is like the good things about it. It's a fun ride, definitely like something you could watch with people. Although I had a great time alone shouting at the TV in my dark house because my roommates were away. And it's like this onion of like things that could be the problem and things to be worried about, that it's handled really well, I think. There are things it's like saying it like does some tropes that like I've been hitting a lot actually this year as like my problem with certain movies this year, that aren't necessarily super good, and I don't ultimately think it's saying anything good, like saying anything like worth saying necessarily, but the ride was pretty good. And it's just one of those things where like if you just want high tension for at least a straight hour, it's gonna be good for that.
I'm really excited to watch it. There were a lot of people on my Twitter feed. They were like, "You need to go watch it. You need to go watch it." So definitely one that and I mean, I always respect your recommendations. So gotta watch it now.
Yeah. That's the other thing I've been doing is I was creating basically a watch list for a bunch of people to just be like, here's a general, if you also want to participate in October movie shenanigans, here's what it is. I also watched.
Does Halloween Ends come on that list? Please don't.
No, it does not. I listened to a podcast about that, and I also listened to your opinion on it. And I think I'm gonna miss this one.
That's fine.
Yeah, especially because I haven't watched
the
the other two in the new trilogy anyway.
I mean, so my recommendation is watch the original and then 2018.
Yeah, that's what I figured yours would be. Yeah.
I mean, I like Halloween Kills, but
good. I've been watching Chucky, the TV show.
Yeah, there you go.
It's interesting. I'm having a fun time with it. I don't super know how I feel. Like, I don't think it's like amazing, but it's doing things I enjoy. This last episode, I don't know how it was doing a lot and like experimenting a lot. Like, it is for many reasons like the equivalent of like what Seed of Chucky was, where it's like doing a shift, at least for that episode, doing a lot of stuff. Some people are here, which may echo some stuff. I don't know how I super feel about it, but like there are things I definitely enjoyed. I feel like you'll hate it if you ever get to it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, hate might be strong, but I just don't think it'll have anything for you.
Okay.
Specifically in it.
Yeah.
But I think the rest of the season you can probably get behind so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I started it back up. So I'm still like mid season 1. But yeah, there's just a lot of things going on right now. So got to pick and choose what I want.
And not horror at all. But the best thing I've been watching is Andor, which surprises me.
Wow.
Because I haven't been this hot on a Star Wars. I haven't been this hot on a Star Wars like ever.
No, you haven't ever. Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. So is it just because there's no space wizards? Like it's just new and different?
No, it's not. Well, no, because there are parts of space wizardry I like. Like I like the melodrama of that sometimes. Mm-hmm. But they're just doing a lot with like one just like they're doing really good like effects work with like their budget. But really the most interesting thing is they're diving into like a bunch of like political stuff of Star Wars like in a really like thought out way this time instead of like what happened in like episode 1 or whatever. Even to a better extent, like Clone Wars also try to do this, like the show. But it's like building above and beyond that and like actually like saying like things that are like not said out loud in Star Wars before and examining stuff like that, and just like the way they're having like arcs in the show is just like very impressive. That's all I can say. But they're also talking about like politics of rebellion, which is stuff which particularly hits me, and they're like talking about the stuff interestingly, which again like a lot of properties don't do, even if they like say like, oh, there's rebels here, they're fighting an empire. It's like actually going into like what does that mean, and like how does all this reflect like stuff where like in the real world stuff.
I'm really excited to get back into it. I'm like 2.5 episodes in, and I really enjoyed the beginning. So yeah, but like I'm to the point where I've seen some of the like the trailers and teasers or whatever, like but not like intently watching them, as to avoid spoilers. And I'm seeing like all of them have like different hairstyles and no beards, like for the main character. And so I'm like, what is going on? Like, what have I missed so much? So, yeah, well, I want to dive back into that for sure.
Yeah.
So the other day I was just like, I need to fold a bunch of laundry, and I just want to watch a feel good movie. Like, and feel good movie to me is like one that I love and just love watching over and over again. And so I put 4 movies on a spin wheel on my laptop on the internet, and it was The Batman No Way Home, and then a movie that I had never seen, Shazam. I've never seen Shazam, and there was one more. I forget which the other one was, but did the spin and I got the Batman, and I love the Batman. It might not be a feel good movie for people because it's like intense, but it's like one where just like I could just sit and relax and watch for me. The Batman is so good. It is just so good. I love the movie so much. I would like to go and rewatch The Dark Knight. But I'm pretty sure that I like this one better than The Dark Knight, which is saying a lot because The Dark Knight is fantastic. But yeah, I really enjoyed the Batman. It's so good. And then I was challenged by Cam Hawkins last time he was on the episode, a couple of episodes ago, to start Attack on Titan.
Oh, okay. All right.
And I started it, and I'm actually really digging it. I'm not a huge anime person, and he just said that this one it's pretty simple to sort of get into. It's like Titans rule the world and we're just small, gonna get eaten. And, you know, that's kind of, he didn't say those words, but he was just, that's how I sense the approachability to it. It's just, it's kind of a simple anime so far. And for that, I really enjoy it. It's a slow burn to start off for sure. You know, I think they're doing some like introduction of characters and sort of building them off. But yeah, I think I'll continue watching it. I think it's fun. I think it's.
How many episodes are you?
I'm like 4 or 5.
4 or 5.
Yeah. So I mean, not very long.
That feels long for you to still consider a slow burn, but I only watched the first season. I watched it when it was happening, so maybe I'm misremembering like when certain things happen.
Yeah, so I mean, like right now they're at the soldier camp, and they're just kind of like figuring each other out and becoming soldiers at this point. They're still
training, okay.
Yeah, they're still training, so that's why I feel like it's a slow burn right now. And like, but what it's got going for it is that I think that the character development within these slow burn episodes is actually pretty good, and just like seeing the subtle nuances of how each of the characters are going to be, like the loyalty this one character has. I don't know their names. Sorry guys. But the loyalty this one character has to the main character, right? Like what is that going to backfire for her, or is that, or is that loyalty going to be rewarded? And so like those little things, that's what I'm holding on to. And plus I like the art style as well. I like that it's not all animated. It's just pans of like, just paintings really in some areas, which is cool too. So yeah, I'm going to sink my teeth into it. Probably watch a little bit more next week. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. And then Marvel Snap. Yeah, but we've already talked about that. All right, Sean, that was our news episode. Anything else you want to say?
It's good to be back. Read books.
Read books.
I didn't talk. That's the other thing I've been doing, but we don't need to spend time on it. Just also do that. It's worth doing.
Okay. I agree. I concur. All right, listeners, that was just a brief news episode. By brief, we mean an hour. Anyway, yeah, leave us a review. Would greatly appreciate it. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. I know you're not seeing our faces. We'll have just like a static image, but wanted to put it out there for you on the YouTube. And yeah, follow us on socials at What the Fun Pod, both Twitter and Facebook we're on. And you could always email us at whatthefunpodcast@gmail.com if you want to connect with us that way. Go ahead and comment down below and we interact. We got some fun comments recently. So yeah. For Sean, my name's Mike, and we'll see you guys later. This has been Test Your Might News. Bye.
Bye.